Glowing Through Adversity, the Power of Vulnerability and Personal Transformation. Welcome to a transformative journey of self-discovery and resilience. Today, we're delving into the heart of human experience, exploring how we can not only survive our darkest moments, but use them as catalysts for profound personal growth. Our guide on this journey is the remarkable Tejumade Ogunmokun, an inspiring author whose work has touched countless lives and sparked a revolution in how we approach adversity. Tejumade's latest book, Glowing Through What We Go Through, isn't just a catchy title, it's a powerful manifesto for living. Her insights, drawn from both personal experience and the stories of numerous women she's encountered, offer us a roadmap for navigating life's most challenging terrains. Tejumade's work doesn't just inspire, it ignites a flame within us, challenging us to see our struggles not as obstacles, but as opportunities for transformation. Imagine, for a moment, standing at the edge of a precipice. The wind howls around you, and below, there's nothing but darkness. Every instinct screams at you to step back, to retreat to safety, but something deeper, something more profound urges you forward. This is the essence of facing adversity head on. It's terrifying, it's overwhelming, and it's also the doorway to our most significant growth. As we embark on this exploration, I want you to think about a time when you felt utterly broken. Perhaps it was the gut-wrenching pain of loss, the soul-crushing weight of betrayal, or the disorienting fog of uncertainty. We've all been there, standing on that cliff, feeling as though one more step might shatter us completely. But here's the truth that Tejumade's work so powerfully illuminates. It's in these moments of intense vulnerability that we have the opportunity to discover our true strength. It's when we're pushed to our limits that we find out what we're really made of. Society often tries to sweep this truth under the rug. We're taught from a young age to put on a brave face, to push down our emotions, to fake it till we make it. But what if I told you that true strength lies not in hiding our vulnerability, but in embracing it? Let's pause for a moment and really let that sink in. True strength lies in embracing our vulnerability. This idea challenges everything we think we know about resilience and power. It goes against our instincts for self-preservation. It feels risky, scary, and sometimes downright terrifying. So why should we do it? Why should we open ourselves up when every fiber of our being is screaming at us to close off, to protect ourselves? The answer lies in the transformative power of vulnerability. When we have the courage to be vulnerable, to face our pain head on instead of running from it, something remarkable happens. We start to grow, we start to transform, we start to glow. Let me share with you a story that Tejumade encountered in her work. It's about a woman who had experienced multiple miscarriages. Each loss felt like a piece of her heart was being torn away. She felt broken, hopeless, like her body had betrayed her. The pain was so intense that she wanted to curl up and disappear from the world. But in the depths of her despair, she made a choice that would not only change her life, but the lives of countless others. She chose to be vulnerable. She chose to share her story. At first, it was terrifying. Opening up about such a personal, painful experience felt like exposing an open wound. But as she began to speak her truth, something incredible happened. Her vulnerability became a lifeline for other women going through the same experience. Her pain became a source of comfort and connection for others. By embracing her vulnerability, she not only began her own healing process, but also created a space for others to heal. She discovered a strength within herself that she never knew existed, the strength to turn her pain into purpose. This is the power of vulnerability. It's not about exposing our weaknesses. It's about having the courage to show up as our authentic selves, especially when we're hurting. But let's be real for a moment. Embracing vulnerability isn't easy. It goes against everything our self-preservation instincts tell us to do. So how do we do it? How do we find the courage to be vulnerable in a world that often punishes authenticity? Tejumade's work offers us some powerful insights. First, we need to reframe how we think about vulnerability. Instead of seeing it as a weakness to be hidden, we need to start viewing it as a strength to be cultivated. Think about the people in your life who you admire most. Chances are they're not the ones who always have it all together, who never show a crack in their armor. No, the people we're drawn to, the ones who inspire us, are often those who have the courage to be real, to show their struggles, to admit when they're not okay. These are the people who change the world, not because they're perfect, but because they're authentically, unapologetically human. Second, we need to create safe spaces for vulnerability. This starts with us. We need to be the kind of people who respond to others' vulnerability with empathy and compassion, not judgment or advice. When someone opens up to us, our first response should be, "Thank you for sharing that with me," not "Here's how you can fix it." Imagine a world where vulnerability was met with understanding instead of criticism, where sharing our struggles was seen as an act of courage rather than a sign of weakness. That's the world we have the power to create, one interaction at a time. Third, and this is crucial, we need to practice self compassion. So often, we're our own harshest critics. We beat ourselves up for not being strong enough, for not handling things better, for feeling hurt or angry or scared. But true strength isn't about never falling, it's about how we pick ourselves back up when we do. Tejumade's work reminds us that it's okay to not be okay. It's okay to struggle, to doubt, to feel lost. These aren't signs of weakness, they're signs that we're human. But here's where it gets really interesting. Tejumade doesn't just talk about embracing vulnerability as a coping mechanism. She presents it as a pathway to something greater, to personal growth, to deeper connections, to a more authentic and fulfilling life. Let me share another powerful story from Tejumade's work. This one is about a woman who experienced a profound betrayal. Her partner, someone she had trusted completely, had been unfaithful. The pain was indescribable. She felt like her entire world had been shattered. In the immediate aftermath, she wanted to shut down, to build walls around her heart, to never trust again. And who could blame her? But as she worked through her pain, something unexpected happened. She started to rediscover parts of herself that she had lost in the relationship. She reconnected with old passions, rekindled friendships she had let slip away. She started to see herself not as a victim, but as a survivor. And here's the truly transformative part. As she healed, she found she had a newfound capacity for empathy and forgiveness, not just for others, but for herself. She realized that by embracing her pain, by allowing herself to be vulnerable, she had become a stronger, more compassionate version of herself. This is the paradox of vulnerability. When we allow ourselves to be seen, really seen with all our flaws and fears and insecurities, we open ourselves up to deeper connections, to more authentic relationships, to a fuller experience of life. But let's be clear, this isn't about turning every challenge into a silver lining. It's not about toxic positivity or pretending that everything happens for a reason. Some experiences are just painful, full stop. Now, what Tejuma's work teaches us is that we have a choice in how we respond to that pain. Now, we can let it break us, or we can let it break us open. And we can use it as an excuse to shut down, to build walls, to become bitter. Or we can use it as an opportunity to grow, to deepen our capacity for empathy, to connect more authentically with others. This brings us to another crucial aspect of Tejumade's message, the importance of community. You see, embracing vulnerability doesn't mean we have to face our challenges alone. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When we have the courage to be vulnerable, to share our struggles, we create opportunities for genuine connection. We give others permission to do the same. We create a ripple effect of authenticity and empathy that can transform not just our own lives, but the lives of those around us. Tejumade shared a powerful example of this. She talked about a group of women who came together to support each other through various life challenges. Some were dealing with infertility, others with divorce, others with career setbacks. On the surface, their struggles were different, but as they opened up to each other, as they allowed themselves to be vulnerable, they discovered a profound sense of connection. They realized that while their specific challenges were unique, the emotions they were experiencing, fear, grief, uncertainty, were universal. By sharing their stories, by being vulnerable with each other, they created a support system that was far more powerful than any one of them could have imagined. This is the power of vulnerable community. When we come together, when we create spaces where it's safe to be real, to be messy, to be human, we tap into a wellspring of collective strength and wisdom. But here's the thing, creating these kinds of communities starts with us. It starts with having the courage to be the first one to open up, to say, I'm struggling and I could use some support. It starts with responding to others' vulnerability, not with judgment or advice, but with empathy and presence. Tejumade's work challenges us to be that person, to be the one who creates safe spaces for vulnerability, to be the one who responds to others' pain with compassion, to be the one who says, "Me too, you're not alone." As we near the end of our time together, I want to circle back to where we started. Remember that cliff I mentioned at the beginning? The one where you're standing at the edge with the wind whipping around you and darkness below? Here's what I want you to know. You're not alone on that cliff. We're all there with you. And while taking that step forward into vulnerability might feel like falling, I promise you it's actually flying. Because when we embrace our vulnerability, when we have the courage to be seen in all our messy, imperfect glory, we open ourselves up to experiences of connection, growth, and transformation that we never thought possible. So here's my challenge to you, inspired by the powerful insights from Tejumade Ogunmokun. This week, I want you to take one step towards embracing your vulnerability. Maybe that means opening up to a friend about something you're struggling with. Maybe it means acknowledging a fear you've been trying to ignore. Maybe it means reaching out for help in an area where you've been trying to go it alone. Whatever it is, take that step. And as you do, remember this: your vulnerability is not a weakness, it's a superpower. It's the key to deeper connections, to personal growth, to a life lived with authenticity and purpose. You see, we're all going through something. But as Tejumad so beautifully reminds us, we have the power to glow through what we go through. We have the ability to use our challenges as catalysts for growth, our pain as a pathway to deeper empathy, our vulnerability as a bridge to more authentic connections. So let's make a pact right here, right now. Let's commit to embracing our vulnerability. Let's commit to creating spaces where others feel safe to do the same. Let's commit to seeing our challenges not as things that dim our light, but as the very fuel that makes us glow brighter. Because when we do this, when we have the courage to be vulnerable, to show up as our authentic selves, to connect with others in meaningful ways, we don't just transform our own lives. We create a ripple effect that has the power to change the world around us. Remember, you are stronger than you know, you are more resilient than you can imagine, and your vulnerability. It's not your weakness, it's your greatest strength. So step off that cliff. Embrace your vulnerability and watch as you begin to soar. As we conclude this talk, I want to leave you with a call to action, a challenge that I hope will resonate in your hearts and minds long after you leave this room. I challenge you to embrace your vulnerability with the same courage and determination you've shown in facing life's challenges. I challenge you to see your struggles not as burdens to bear, but as opportunities to grow, to connect, to inspire. Starting today, make a commitment to yourself, a commitment to be authentically you in all your beautiful imperfection. Share your story, not despite your pain, but because of it. Reach out to someone who's struggling and say, "I see you, I hear you, you're not alone." Create spaces in your life where vulnerability is not just accepted, but celebrated. Be the friend, the colleague, the family member who responds to others' pain with compassion and understanding. Be the one who says, "Thank you for sharing that with me," instead of rushing to fix or judge. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. Treat yourself with the same compassion and understanding you'd offer to a dear friend. Remember that your worth is not determined by your achievements or your struggles, but by your inherent humanity. As you leave here today, carry with you the knowledge that your vulnerability is your strength. It's your pathway to deeper connections, to personal growth, to a life lived with authenticity and purpose. You have the power to transform your pain into purpose, your struggles into strength, your vulnerability into a beacon of hope for others. You have the power to glow through whatever you're going through. So go forth and shine, my friends. Embrace your vulnerability, share your story, connect with others, create ripples of authenticity and empathy that will change not just your life, but the lives of those around you. Remember, in a world that often celebrates perfection, it's your authenticity that will truly change the world. Your vulnerability is not just a personal strength, it's a revolutionary act, an act that has the power to transform lives, build genuine connections, and create a more compassionate world. So let's start a vulnerability revolution. Let's create a world where it's safe to be human, where our struggles are seen not as weaknesses, but as badges of honor. A world where we don't just survive our challenges, but we glow through them. The world is waiting for your light. It's waiting for your story. It's waiting for the unique gifts that only you, in all your beautiful, vulnerable humanity, can offer. So step into your power, embrace your vulnerability, and watch as you not only transform your own life, but light the way for others to do the same. Thank you.